Hello, everyone. It's time for that weekly update from Bitcoin.com. It is Friday, October 19th. I'm Roger Veer.
I'm Corbin Fraser.
Back again. So we're going to talk about some exciting stuff. You just got back from San Francisco, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Tell us about it.
San Francisco was awesome. Yeah, so there was the first BCH DEVCON, which was put on by Permissionless Ventures, Bitmain.
Bitcoin.com was there, of course.
We had Gabriel Cardano was one of the judges there, as well as Ryan X. Charles, Shamal Chancellor from Bitcoin ABC. I think they had Josh Ellithorpe as well from Coinbase. Some great speakers lined up, as well as the hackathon, which was kind of the big feature event. So there was about 15 different teams, all working and competing to win about 10 BCH as the grand prize, as well as funding from Permissionless Ventures. The second prize, I think, was something like 5 BCH or something like that, and then the third prize, I think, was 1 BCH. So a bunch of teams were all kind of competing and trying to make something kind of work on Bitcoin.Cash. It was basically take any idea you've got. They had a few kind of pre-designed ideas to kind of play with, but a lot of people kind of came in with their own ideas. We saw things like Rob Danielson, the guy from Tipperbot. He ended up doing a multiplayer game that uses SLP tokens as the in-game token. So it was pretty cool to see these guys whip out a game that ties in SLP tokens within, it was like 32 hours, I think, was the whole hackathon.
So I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
So you were just at the hackathon. There's basically two competing token implementations on Bitcoin.Cash right now, SLP and Wormhole.
Yeah.
Which one did you see more developers interested in building on in San Francisco at the hackathon?
I saw both, actually. So it seemed like it was kind of split neck and neck, because I think depending on what you're trying to do, it seems like certain token implementations are a little bit easier to work with than others. But I think, it seems like, right now the main two seem to be SLP and Wormhole, but I know there's, Gabriel Cardano did an awesome presentation on his Tokembrian explosion, as he likes to call it.
And I think our Gabriel and our Bitcoin.com's developer.bitcoin.com toolbox and platform there supports both, I think, right?
Right now it's supporting only Wormhole, but we're in development of adding
SLP coming soon. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I think there's a couple other that we're looking at too. So we're kind of hoping that just let the tokens duke it out, see which is the best implementation. I think there's some people that are a little bit concerned with Wormhole because there's
they really get bent up about burnt some Bitcoin.Cash.
And to me, it's like whatever. If you want to burn it, you want to spend it, you want to hold it, whatever. It's
yours to do what you want with it.
Exactly. I think someone made an argument that if Bitcoin.Cash's price ever went up, that the cost of creating tokens with Wormhole would be more expensive than something like SLP. But I think that's great. That's why we've got two different types.
Competition is good.
Competition's healthy, and whatever people choose to do, it's great. The team from Yenom here in Japan, they flew the whole team
to SF,
out, SF, and had an awesome presentation. They did, everyone else is working on one project, but
they speak English pretty well.
They speak decent English. Yeah, okay. Sean is awesome. Shout out to him and his team. But it was pretty funny. Everyone was really focused on one good project, and because they're just in true Japanese style, they went above and beyond and did 3 projects in one night. They were working all night, so they did they
had jet lag on their side to stay up all night, though, right?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But they did this a Mario. It was a Mario game that you paid to play the Mario game. They also added in this. They did kind of an instant payment. They had a great name for it. Basically, it allowed you to make a payment through a website, and it would automatically open up the app, complete the payment, and then send you right back into the website. So it kind of prevents you from having to do that, when you're on a mobile device.
Hopping back and forth,
Copy, paste, open up another app. It's just kind of like a little zap that kind of takes care of it. And then they also added in, I think that was the main one. And I think they're launching the specs this weekend here. They're saying that they'll be opening it up so any wallet can actually add that ability to, so if you hit pay now and your wallet's installed, it'll just zap you back and forth and allow you to pay. So I shared it with our wallet team just to see if maybe it's something we can look at adding down the road. But yeah, it was pretty exciting. I mean, it was really great to see all these developers come from all across the country and across the world, really, to get together and just create some cool stuff on Bitcoin.Cash. I managed to team up with Paul as well as Corentin from Bitmain, as well as Jake and Mike, and we played around with this what we called Broccoli, which was our payroll app. So we were basically taking the idea was that if you've got, let's say, 100 employees on your payroll, and you start paying them in the morning, and you don't actually complete paying everyone until, say, a couple hours later, the price could actually fluctuate a little bit. So the idea was that if you had a pre-filled list of all of those addresses, and you could have them, all send out within one transaction. So it was a multi-output transaction, and it was kind of a little proof of concept, but it was a great way to kind of experiment with using Bitcoin Cash in real-world applications and trying to solve problems that businesses and people have kind of come across. So
yeah, that's what Bitcoin Cash is all about, is making it useful for people to solve real-world problems.
Yeah, it was really exciting. So we should mention that the next event is in Amsterdam, and that's October 27th and 28th. Gabriel
Coming
will be
soon.
out there. Yeah, Amory Sachet from Bitcoin ABC will be there. I believe if you want to visit that one and check it out, it's hackathon.cash. It looks like they'll have some prizes as well as some speakers. If you're in Amsterdam or anywhere in Europe and you can make it out there, head out there, go support it. And I think they're doing Amsterdam. I want to say there's another one in India, and then I think they've got one in
Tokyo coming soon too. Yeah.
So lots of great stuff from permissionless ventures.
Was there a London one as well? Maybe.
I think there might be.
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
One. Yeah. Anyone else that's kind of curious?
Hackathon.cash, I think. Yeah.
And BCH DEVCon.
And of course, developer.bitcoin.com if you're a dev. We're making all the tools out there to make it super easy for you to build on top of Bitcoin Cash. And if there's a tool that you see that you need that we don't have yet, contact us. Let us know what you need as a developer to make it easier to do your things. And it's, we're happy to help provide those tools for you. So contact us, let us know what you think would be a super useful tool, and we're going to build it. So.
Yeah, and actually, well, speaking of cool tools, I mean, these are just in the last week, we've seen a few things getting shared on social media on yours.org and Twitter and you name it.
Yep. So first shout out goes to Spencer Lambert.
Yeah.
So tell us what Spencer built here.
So Spencer built a Bitcoin Cash vending machine, and it's a working demo. There's a video as well on Twitter and on yours. It's a wired up vending machine to accept Bitcoin Cash in place of the paper dollars you would normally do to put in your money and get your Doritos or whatever it is that you're after. So make sure you check that out, and it's on yours if you search Bitcoin Cash vending machine. As well as follow Spencer Lambert on Twitter, at Spencer Lambert. And
let's talk about yours.org for a moment. Another really cool blogging platform where people can tip and pay you, and you can have like a paywall behind part of your content, and it's a really, really neat thing. It's kind of like Medium, but using Bitcoin Cash for the whole thing. So if you haven't checked out yours.org, there's lots of interesting things to read. And if you want to write something interesting for people, you can get paid for it in Bitcoin Cash over at yours.org. Created by Ryan Charles of now Money Button fame. They've kind of pivoted and focusing on the Money Button.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of that functionality from yours and just opening it up to allow anyone to use it on any publishing platform. So on your own website, we've seen guys like Derek McGill add it to Nakamoto Studies.
Yep.
That was where I did my first Money Button payment, and worked flawlessly. It was great. So actually, we saw a few people at the hackathon using Money Button in some gambling apps. It was like
I think
a Money Button.
It's going to be pretty popular for depositing and for all sorts of things.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. So great work, Ryan X. Charles and his team. I think they've done terrific work on that.
Another one, there was a Bitcoin Cash candy vending machine. So everybody likes candy. Everybody likes Bitcoin Cash. Well, what's better than buying your candy with Bitcoin Cash? And so there's a QR code right there on the machine. And we'll put the link to that right there. And the creator behind it looks like he was saying that the Lightning Network is still unstable to send even small payments, let alone big payments. Big payments, I think it depends on how big the payment is, but sometimes they fail more than half the time, right? When you're making payments, it needs to go through reliably every single time without fail.
Yeah.
Maybe somehow, possibly someday, maybe the Lightning Network will get there. Bitcoin Cash works right now every time reliably, fast, cheap, lightning fast, on chain, less than a penny.
Why
per transaction?
Why over-engineer a simple problem?
We already have a solution that works, Bitcoin Cash, right now today.
Yeah.
And I'll point it out, and it'll get some people riled up. Just making the blocks bigger is a long-term solution. It absolutely is. So you hear these people say that, just increasing the blocks isn't a long-term solution. Of course it is. So I just got my new iPhone came in the mail yesterday. It has 0.5 terabyte of storage on my phone. Right? And guess what? The iPhone that comes out next year is probably going to be able to have 1 terabyte of storage on the phone. So just increasing the blocks year after year, that is a long-term solution. Yeah. So don't believe these people that say that it's not. So I have about 2 decades of experience in helping scale enterprise networks before I got involved in Bitcoin. Just increasing the block size is a long-term solution. So don't believe the people that are trying to baffle you with a bunch of techno jargon.
Yeah, and that's, we see that a lot at a lot of the meetups. If you still pop into some of the BTC meetups, there's a lot of people that have really bought into all of the propaganda that they read on our Bitcoin, which is highly, highly censored. We always recommend visiting our BTC, where there's quite a bit more open dialogue. But like speaking on the scalability, I should mention Decentralized Thought. One of our favorite YouTubers.
Yeah.
Recently released a new video on CTOR.
Yeah, I just watched it today. Thanks to you posting it in the channel.
It's,
everyone should watch it. You'll have a much better understanding of what everyone's arguing about.
There's a lot of FUD, just on how to properly scale Bitcoin Cash, right? And increasing the blocks is part of it, but even just finding ways to deal with long-term scaling solutions in terms of rewriting some of the software to allow for nodes to
handle bigger blocks,
handle more transactions. And if we want to scale to these terabyte blocks, we do need to restructure some of the code in order to make it really scale. So, I think Decentralized Thought did a really great job at
all of his videos are fantastic. He does a great job on everything.
Complicated topics and completely digest them and is able to make the topic much more understandable with his little drawings and stuff. So
he's a young guy. He's like 20 or something, right?
Yeah, so he's got a couple kids. He's just cruising away. But he's one of the most valuable YouTubers, I think, in the Bitcoin Cash space, because he really does take these complicated topics and help normies kind of digest them. And it's really hats off to him.
Yeah, and I think it was the same guy. He said that routing failures in the Lightning Network is the new credit card declined. He was somebody was blogging about that or tweeting about that. And he tried 10 times to send a payment on the Lightning Network, and it was, it couldn't get routed every single time. And
yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. So actually, on the simplicity of that, we should mention the Satoshi's Vision conference going on in Italy right now. So Lake Garda in Italy, there's an instant transaction workshop going on. Guys like Peter Risen, I think Amory Sachet is there.
Our own Emil Oldenburg is there.
Emil is there.
Gabriel's there. Gabriel Cardona, Bitbox.
Josh Ellithorpe is there. All of those presentations are going to be on YouTube, so make sure you check them out on YouTube. Just look up Satoshi's Vision Conference. You'll find all of their little panels and discussions on instant transactions. Basically, they're just trying to make zero confirmation safer, and they're trying to make
These are people who want cryptocurrencies to be usable as currency, unlike all these Bitcoin core developers that are literally showing up at Bitcoin meetups and telling people to pay with credit cards instead of like Bitcoin. If you want people to pay with credit cards, go get a job at Visa. Stop messing with the cryptocurrency projects.
So make sure you go check them out, follow them on, subscribe to them on YouTube, and just catch up on all the kind of latest updates on how Bitcoin Cash is improving zero confirmation even further. And it's interesting stuff.
So speaking of using cryptocurrencies as currency, there's a new bar here in Tokyo. I stopped by last night with some other Bitcoin cryptocurrency friends.
Awesome.
Right there in Roppongi, called something weird in Japanese English attempt, like Zeto or Zika or what's the name? Something like that.
Yeah, Akane was telling me.
Anyhow, I went there last night. They had their big giant sign right next to the register that says, BCH please, Bitcoin Cash, right next to all the local Japanese payment things, and we paid in Bitcoin Cash for our food and drinks at the bar there last night. It was great, and they knew exactly how to do it, and I had never been there before. But they were using the Bitcoin.com wallet to accept their payments too as well.
Yeah. Actually, last night a couple of the guys after work, we ended up going to a bar just down the street here. We basically were able to go in, set up our tab on Bitcoin Cash. They would allow us to buy a few drink tokens with our Bitcoin Cash, and we were set. So you show up, you pay your entry, you get a few drinks, and you're set. But we were doing it all with Bitcoin Cash, and I also saw they were using our wallet too. Which was
and so cool. if you want to spend Bitcoin Cash at physical places near you, because there's already more than 100,000 websites that accept it online, but if you want to find a place near you, download the Marco Coino app for iPhone or Android, and you can find all these physical places near you that are already accepting Bitcoin Cash. And if you have a business that accepts Bitcoin Cash, make sure you get it added to that Marco Coino app so other people can find out about it. And you never know, when I'm in your town, maybe I'll show up there too, and I think Corbin will as well.
Absolutely.
And I love checking it everywhere I go in the world, which brings me to another topic. I just got back from Slovenia yesterday morning. There's a town called Ljubljana in Slovenia. I think the population is 270,000. They have more than 100 shops there accepting Bitcoin Cash, including like the Apple certified, like authorized reseller.
That's
I literally
awesome.
bought a lightning cable of all things.
But irony.
I bought a lightning cable from the authorized Apple reseller, and I paid for it in Bitcoin Cash. And right there on my receipt, I got from their point of sale system, It says Bitcoin Cash was the payment method right there on the printed receipt.
Awesome.
We bought all sorts of salamis and wines and all sorts of fantastic stuff. And this is all being done by a fantastic company based there in Ljubljana called Elipay, E-L-I-P-A-Y, Elipay. Apparently they had an ICO and raised like 10 million bucks, but they're all busy making cryptocurrencies usable as currencies. And so, of course, they're giant fans of Bitcoin Cash because they actually want it to be usable as money. So a special shout out to all the guys at Elipay in Slovenia. I was super impressed with you and your team and all the things that you guys were doing there. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do next. So if you're visiting Slovenia, make sure you download the Elipay app and you can go and spend it at, I think, over 160 merchants in Ljubljana or in Slovenia there.
Yeah, I actually hopped on Marco Coino this morning and happened to check Slovenia, and I saw the big update.
Is the update live? I didn't check
we got the update up over the last few days, but yeah, you can see Slovenia now is just a zoo of markers because you can see everything now.
I'm checking right now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
The only downside I'll have to say in regards to that app and all those merchants is you have to use the Elipay app in order to do it. But you can do...
Isn't that insane?
Wow, 155 it says on that one little area for
Isn't that wild?
Wow, so Slovenia is the new hotbed for Bitcoin Cash adoption. My God, if you don't have the Marco Coino app already, I don't think you can see it there, but we'll put a screenshot up there on the screen for you guys to see that. And wow, what a thing.
Cool.
So, but the only downside is you have to have the Elipay app, but you can deposit Bitcoin Cash right into your Elipay app and then withdraw your Bitcoin Cash right from the Elipay app, just like that. So anyhow, good job, Elipay. Fantastic. We'll put this screenshot up there.
And you know, a huge shout out to everyone out there for taking the risk to kind of say let's do this. And other shopping centers and places like this, why not give it a shot? If you want to bring in some new traffic, bring in some total techno nerds to come in and come spend their Bitcoin, it's worth looking into.
Good job, Elipay. This map is just amazing to look at there.
Yeah. So again, Marco Coino, go download that. It's available on Android and iOS.
Yep. And then I think we're working on having the same app available on Bitcoin.com.
We
is that
are,
right?
yeah. Actually, I believe we're adding it. It should be by next week. It should be up on a merchant section that we're kind of revamping. So Bitcoin.com/merchant-solutions will have both fee comparison as well as the maps up
Fantastic.
there. So make sure you check that out.
And Corbin's in charge of all of that. So if you have ideas or suggestions or things you want to see improved, you can reach out to Corbin at Bitcoin.com with your suggestions anytime. Now your inbox is going to be flooded.
Yeah, that's all right. It always is.
And Maple Syrup Sucker on Twitter.
That's
is that right?
me. Yep, that's me. So we should go to the next one. Cyclebit. So they're partners with Nostrum, and they're about to accept Bitcoin Cash across 130 locations. So, you know, I think we talked about this a while ago, but you know, I think we're almost at that point where
there's
Bitcoin
way more
Cash might have.
There's way more physical locations accepting Bitcoin Cash than BTC at this point. There's no doubt in my mind on that. The shop flipping is happening from BTC to BCH. So speaking of that, so last night I was out here in Tokyo with a big giant OTC trader visiting from Dubai. Was here in Tokyo, and he told me, like, we love cryptocurrencies here at Bitcoin.com. We love any cryptocurrency that actually works and that's useful for people. If it's useful, use it. So I love Ethereum. Lots of people are using Ethereum for lots of things. But the interesting thing that this OTC trader, he said recently they've been having way more inquiries and interest in Bitcoin Cash than even Ethereum.
Really?
Out of his OTC desk.
That's great.
Which is, that's pretty, I was surprised to hear that, to be honest, because there's a lot of people building on Ethereum and doing things. More interest was coming across his OTC desk on Bitcoin Cash than Ethereum, he said. And this guy is, again, he's more of a cryptocurrency agnostic guy. Anything that works is cryptocurrency and that he can trade and make money, he's interested in. But the fact that he told me that Bitcoin Cash was getting more interest than Ethereum, that was pretty interesting.
Well, actually, you know what? I've seen this with other developers too. And like I should mention, while I was in San Francisco there, I met George Hotz. One of the most.
So for those that don't know who George Hotz is, let's talk about his background.
Yeah, so he's one of the OG hackers of like yesteryear, and he's still a great hacker today.
He was the first person in the world, I think, to jailbreak an iPhone. Is that right?
Yeah, he jailbroke the first iPhone.
The first person in the world to jailbreak an iPhone ever was this guy, George Hotz.
A lot of Canadians actually relied on his jailbreak in order to get it, because the iPhone wasn't available in Canada until like 6 months later.
And it was locked to a particular carrier.
Yeah, so you could buy them from the States, but they were locked to the carrier.
Jailbreak
so his
it and put it
jailbreak, like the Canadians have a ton to thank for George and his hard work.
I didn't know that part about.
But he also was the
first person in the world to hack the Sony PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right. So this guy's like one of the.
Sony wasn't a big fan of that either. They kind of.
I think they sued him over it, didn't they?
Sued him. Yeah. I don't know how that all handled, but I mean, he came out on top because I mean, he started a company called Comma.ai.
Now he's busy doing self-driving cars. Where for like $1,000 you can buy a kit to turn any like recent car into a self-driving car.
It's pretty wild, yeah. And I mean, he had been working with Elon Musk on actually selling his solution to them.
To Tesla.
Yeah, and then I think it's the contract at last minute. Elon kind of pulled a little, changed the contract last minute, and George, he's typical hacker. He said, "All right, I can do this on my own. I'll start my own company."
Hack the system.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's got his Comma.ai. You should go check that out. But we ran into him and invited him to the BCH DEVCON. He showed up to kind of learn a little bit.
Was that kind of his first experience with?
So he'd already been involved in BTC a while ago and saw that they weren't going to scale it. That this was screwed. So he ended up kind of going. He's like all in on Ethereum for a little while there. And
like a lot of people, even Vitalik wanted to build it on BTC, and he thought, "Oh, that's not going to happen."
We took him out for beers and played a little pool with him, and kind of just caught him up to date on, Bitcoin Cash. And he said, "Yeah, I love forks. Forks are great." And actually, he got interviewed by the guys at CoinSpice. They did an awesome interview with him.
Lots of awesome interviews on the CoinSpice channel. Check out that YouTube channel as well.
But he is one of the most interesting guys I ran into out there. And actually, the other night he was doing a live stream on Twitch, where he was coding and writing a Bitcoin Cash transaction from scratch in Vim. So he's just talking about his coding experience and playing around.
Talking and coding at the same time is kind of hard to do.
It's pretty wild. And you should make sure you check out his live stream, because he was using Explorer.Bitcoin.com. He was playing around with our wallet. He was playing around with just writing a transaction from scratch. Like this guy's one of the most interesting hackers, I think, in the space, and he's running a multi-million-dollar company. It's
I'm not sure if it's in our show notes, but I think I saw the video online somewhere where George Hotz, one of the most prolific, interesting hackers in the world, said Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin.
He did, yeah.
People know. People that are paying attention know. Bitcoin Cash. Read the white paper. Look at what defines Bitcoin. Look at how it works. Bitcoin Cash has more Bitcoinness about it than the BTC chain does at this point. So kudos to George for being able to see that as well.
Smart people are coming around.
They're speaking of smart people coming around, so Cyclebit, we said they're adding 130 locations, coffee shop across Spain.
Yeah, so I checked out their website. They've got 200,000 point-of-sale terminals worldwide, and it looks like they're starting to accept cryptocurrency, and with a big focus on Bitcoin Cash. So that could be,
because it actually works.
Yeah, and it's you should go check out Cyclebit's website too. It looks like if you're in need of a point-of-sale terminal, maybe check them out if you're interested in accepting Bitcoin Cash. And
another big giant business based out of the UK is called BrewDog, which is a chain of pubs. I think over 100 and something pubs total.
Yeah, so they're also a microbrewery, and I've had their beer before. I've had their Punk IPA. It's a very hoppy IPA. I think they actually sell it down the street here as well.
Do they? Okay.
So yeah, really popular in the craft brewery scene. And yeah, they've got this London pub that's opening up at the Canary Wharf.
But the interesting part, I read their whole press release the other day, so they're going to be accepting both BTC and BCH, but it's very, very clear that their focus is on BCH. In fact, it's so clear that the first 100 people that show up at the location there that's accepting cryptocurrencies for payments, BTC and BCH, they're giving away to the first 100 people between, I think 10, my notes say 12 and 100, but I think it was between 10 and 100 British pounds worth of, not BTC, worth of BCH.
Yeah, and actually if you go into the Canary Wharf here for BrewDog, anytime between Friday and Sunday this weekend, so hopefully we can get this video up in time to remind people.
Yeah.
If you buy anything from them over the weekend, you get entered into the raffle to win $500 worth of Bitcoin Cash.
Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
So,
and I don't know, it's just pure speculation on my part because this is in the UK, but Calvin Ayre has a big UK presence, another big giant Bitcoin Cash fan. Calvin Ayre deserves more thanks too. So they sponsored the Ayre United football team, which for Americans that means soccer.
I would love to get one of those jerseys.
And the jerseys, it just says Bitcoin BCH, and so we'll put the photo up in the video right now for you. So special thanks for Calvin for just being a force of nature to help the adoption of a Bitcoin Cash. He deserves even more thanks for that sort of thing. So and thanks to BrewDog for being the first chain of bars to accept Bitcoin Cash payments, and thanks to Cyclebit as well. And it'd be interesting to see some of the stats once they're out. I suspect more people will be using Bitcoin Cash than BTC at those places as well. So
we should move on to OYO.Cash.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I think so. we're gonna pretend. Basically, OYO.Cash.
I thought it was a picture .cash, right?
So it allows you to search Bitcoin Cash blockchain, and essentially it just searches all the op return data. So you can type in anything from if you're looking for a specific topic and someone's mentioning it in memo.cash, it allows you to quickly search through all of that content and kind of link directly to specific transactions where those specific keywords were mentioned.
Have you had the chance to use that one at all yet?
I did. I used that one, and also there was another one called Trends.Cash. Yeah, I think it was done by the same guys. So it's using BitDB, and basically, yeah, same thing with Trends.Cash. It's kind of like Google Trends for the opera term. So you can see how many times people have mentioned specific keywords in some of these memo cache transactions or messages. So you can kind of see the popularity of things like if you type in zeroconf, you'll see how often people are mentioning zeroconf in these memo.cache messages.
You can see what's popular and what's not.
Yeah.
And have some statistical data.
Pretty cool
There's
stuff.
another one that I don't think made it into our show notes, but we were just looking at it right before we started filming here. Was the, what is it, Bitcoin Files?
Yeah, BitcoinFiles.com.
.com, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting stuff. You can basically save files to the blockchain. I think right now there's a temporary limit of about 5 kilobytes, so it's pretty small files at the moment. But I messaged the guys behind it and asked, is this a temporary limit? And they said, yeah, it's basically temporary for the time being. What they're saying, they basically said that the 5 kilobyte limit is temporary, but once chained child transactions are raised and a bigger op return is added, we'll be able to go much bigger files on chain. So in theory,
so I'm not sure what size a magnet link is for like torrents, but why not just put like magnet links for torrents in there, and then
we
you
could
can
have
have
a
all the
decentralized
torrents.
Pirate Bay.
Yeah,
be great. Yeah,
or not even. I guess you could call it decentralized, but just like record the magnet links in the blockchain op return, and then who's going to take that offline? Because we see the Pirate Bay has to keep switching like domain names every couple of months, and to be honest, like I'm a fan of like respecting like copyrights. Like if you buy something and you agree as part of buying it not to give out a bunch of copies to people, you shouldn't do that. But that's the company's responsibilities to do the enforcement themselves. They shouldn't be like using taxpayer dollars to go run around and do all the enforcement of that either. So. Anyhow, that's probably a topic for a whole other episode.
Yeah, actually, I'd love to get
BitcoinPolitics.com.
I know Emil knows some of the guys from the Pirate Bay, so I would love to. Maybe you guys can get him on here, and you guys can talk about Pirate Bay. I think that'd be an interesting topic people would like to hear more about.
So, CoinText, another thing we're a big fan of. It allows you to send Bitcoin Cash to anyone, anywhere using text messaging. They've now launched in Turkey and Argentina.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Interesting, right? So, like, and I didn't follow. It was a Turkish guy that went into the Saudi Arabia embassy and got chopped to pieces. Is that right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, CoinText is now available in Turkey, so they can help give people in Turkey more financial freedom. I don't think they launched in Saudi Arabia yet, but I think it's needed there even more, so that you can stop funding people from murdering people in embassies around the world. Like, my God, who can think that this sort of thing is okay? They literally chopped this poor guy up into a bunch of little pieces because they didn't like the stuff he was reporting about in the news. So
pretty twisted stuff.
Don't pay to chop people into little pieces that are news reporters. Like, that shouldn't be a controversial statement, and the best way to stop paying for that sort of thing is to get the entire world using cryptocurrencies. That way people are able to pay for things they support and things that they like, and stop paying for things that they don't like chopping news reporters into little pieces. That was funded with tax dollars, no doubt about it. So man, it's a bunch of sickos out there.
There's a lot of twisted people out there. I think it's
doing it with stolen money.
Well,
right?
that's the scary thing, right? You get these government people that think that they
can chop you into little pieces if you have an opinion that they don't like.
Yeah, you say something you don't like, you either get locked up or you get cut
into little pieces. Yeah, my God,
it's absolutely messed up.
So speaking of getting locked up, so Ross Ulbricht's still in prison. It's been 5 years. Signed the petition to give that guy a pardon from Donald Trump out there.
Yeah.
And I had another really, really good idea last night as I was falling asleep on how to get a lot more attention for that. You're going to help build it. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it after the show here. But and then we'll announce all the details for it. But I think it's a pretty darn clever idea. And not only does it help get, maybe and it's not just Ross, every single victimless crime person should be let out of prison. Kudos to Canadians today. So Canadians, they legalized weed across the country. But not only that, but they said they're going to let everybody out of jail that's in there for weed, and there were a lot of them. So we got a lot of Canadians in the room too behind the camera. I see some of them looking over here. So good job, Canadians. As a Canadian, anything you want to add to that? Or
I'm my only fear with the idea of I guess legalizing it is that they're just going to add more laws around it, right?
It's better than locking people in jail unconditionally for that sort of thing. So
and I think it's like one of those things that it's a victimless crime, smoking a little bit of a plant that makes you feel happy. who's it hurting? And I do think it's one of those things that I don't think society is going to fall into chaos and reefer mania is going to take over the world.
Of course not.
People are still going to be showing up at work tomorrow. People are still going to be, checking in on their kids. The world's not going to fall to pieces because someone smokes a little bit of a plant or has the right to go buy a little bit of a plant from a convenience store or wherever it is that they're allowing. I think it's probably liquor stores, knowing Canada. And like
to dive into the philosophy a little bit, so I think it should be really clear to any thinking person that getting together a bunch of old guys in a room and writing down words on a piece of paper and calling it a law, that doesn't change morality. So if it's moral today for people to smoke marijuana in Canada, it was moral last week and last month and last year to do it. So if it was moral back then, that means all the people that locked those people in jail and prosecuted them, they were the criminal aggressors. It was the police, the lawyers, the judges and prosecutors that were the bad people and the bad guys and the criminal aggressors. And I'm glad they stopped. But they're still doing it for other things and other drugs. You own yourself, you own your own body, you can put what you want in it, and the people that want to lock those people in cages for it, they're the criminal aggressors and they're the ones that need to stop.
So very well put. I think it's one of those, and we're never going to see the cops and the judges and the lawmakers, go to jail for basically ruining lives for the past.
And to be honest, I think for the most part, I'm willing to forgive them if they would just stop. Stop right now, today. Quit your job. If you're hurting innocent people, quit. If you're funding for innocent people to get hurt or chopped up into little pieces, stop paying for it. Cut it out, right? Like, don't support it. And if you stop, I'm willing to forgive you. If you don't stop, I don't think you should be forgiven if you're still continuing to engage in this horrible thing. So stop it.
So, on the weed note, I was in San Francisco. They've got a ton of those, what are the dispensaries? Walk in, it's like an Apple store. You pick your pot up, you do your thing, you transact with another person. It's commerce. You got weed delivery.
I'm guessing quite a few of those places are probably using cryptocurrency at this point.
I would suspect. If they're not, they should absolutely be. I would highly encourage them to start accepting Bitcoin Cash. But like places like Denver, places like San Francisco and California, and these places that have kind of a little bit more lax laws and more freedom around being able to enjoy a plant, they seem to be doing okay. There's a lot of businesses that sprout up around this industry, and I mean the businesses support jobs, and the jobs allow people to live, and I just don't see anyone really.
It's not a problem.
Yeah. So I guess curious to see what the rest of these Western countries will do now that Canada's kind of taken this big step forward. Will the UK kind of step up next? Will the US hopefully do this? Hopefully release some of these.
Hopefully Japan. So I've never tried a cigarette or pot or any of that stuff. But like literally just a couple weeks ago, there was a Japanese guy right by our office, like 50 meters from our office, laid down in the middle of the street, unconscious, drunk. No problem at all in Japan. And somebody else brought him a little bottle of water and sat next to him. Somebody in the room was next to me when we saw him. Maybe you were there. But anyhow, that's just fine. Yeah. But if you have a little tiny plant that makes you feel happy, whoa, you're in big trouble in Japan. So it's just craziness as well.
Well, and the craziness too is that that law likely didn't come in. It wasn't part of Japanese culture
until
it was
pushed from the West over here.
The West kind of brought that shame aspect of behind enjoying a plant.
Anyhow, I guess enough anti-drug war talk for the moment, but
so I guess we should move on to BCH Developer Speaker Series. It's continuing in London.
There it is.
London, October 25th. So yeah, series of talks about the BCH ecosystem, latest developments, and how Bitcoin Cash is changing the economy for the better. Lineup includes Gabriel Cardona, senior BCH developer at Bitcoin.com, founder of Bitbox, as well as Alex Agut and Raphael Saibin, founders of Handcash.
Another fantastic Bitcoin Cash wallet.
Very slick wallet. Yeah, great work, guys.
Yeah, pretty much every decent wallet supports Bitcoin Cash at this point. So blockchain.info, of course. Yep. What's the Edge wallet is what they renamed it to now. Yeah, Edge wallet, of course.
Bread.
Yeah, Bread wallet, of course. Jax, of course. The Bitcoin.com wallet is our very favorite here at Bitcoin.com. Imagine that. And we're a little bit biased, but I do think we have the best wallet at the moment. But the other ones are great too. Try them all and use whatever ones you like.
Yeah, shout out to Alfonso and his team for their hard work on our wallet.
New updates coming soon with some more fantastic improvements to our wallet.
Absolutely. So that moves us on to the Humans of Bitcoin podcast, featuring Jose of Eat BCH Venezuela.
You've all heard about Eat BCH down in Venezuela. Well, now you get to hear direct from the guy that's doing it down there.
Yeah, very interesting story. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Humans of Bitcoin. Huge shout out to Matt Aaron for his hard work on the podcast. I think he's really really built
doing a great job
great
with that
network.
If you haven't subscribed on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you want, we have all these Bitcoin.com podcasts available with like great content from great people. Go and check that out as well. Speaking of Venezuela, though, I had an interesting experience at Acapulco last year in Mexico. I met some guy came up to me that I didn't know. I'd never met him before, and he's like, Roger, I need to apologize to you. I'm like, hey, you don't need to apologize to me. I don't know you, don't worry. He's like, no. I need to apologize to you. And I'm like, well, what, right? And he said, like, I used to think that you were like an idiot and you were attacking Bitcoin, and I was so mad at you for supporting Bitcoin Cash, and like, why were you like opposed to Bitcoin? And then the fees became so high on Bitcoin, just like you had been warning about. And that's when I realized that like Bitcoin, BTC, can't help people in Venezuela. We can't afford to use it. And that's when I realized that you were right about Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash has the ability to help the people of Venezuela opt out of their corrupt monetary system there, whereas BTC doesn't have the ability to do that. So he said, I want to tell you, I'm sorry for thinking that you were a bad guy and that you were wrong. I realize now that you're right, and I just wanted to say that I'm sorry to you for that. And that was a guy from Venezuela. Firsthand in a country that, if any country around the world needs cryptocurrencies, it's Venezuela.
Yeah, it's funny when you start thinking for yourself and you start doing your own research and you actually analyze things from a logical point of view rather than allowing emotion to kind of take over. You can kind of break out of being that NPC, and I think we've seen these NPC memes going all over.
Non-player characters, There's a lot of those in the cryptocurrency space. So
we should mention the Bitcoin.com store. It's got a new look. They completely redesigned things, and because you guys are watching and you've stuck through this long, we've got a coupon code for you guys.
Rundown 25. What do you get for that coupon code?
Rundown 25, 25% off everything on the store until the end of October. So you got to act quick on this one. This video should be up hopefully by Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday.
It'll be up soon. It's Friday evening in Tokyo, which means it's still like Friday morning in the rest of the world.
So Rundown 25. Grab a T-shirt. Maybe grab a couple, share them with your friends and family. They're great. They're awesome.
Spread the Bitcoin Cash love. So token shuffle.
Yeah, fungibility. This is huge.
Super important.
Yeah.
Looking forward to having that come to. I think that's the biggest major missing piece from the Bitcoin.com wallet is some privacy tools. But we're aware of that, and we're hard at work on it. I
had an awesome conversation with John Football at the San Francisco DEVCON there.
He's awesome. Anybody
one of the
read his essays,
ever.
talk to that guy like that. John Football, the Bitcoin Cash community is lucky to have you. So thank you, Donald.
Yeah, he is absolutely.
Even though you have a strange name.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that, but. It seems like there's another shuffling implementation out called Token Shuffle. It's a new privacy feature for Bitcoin Cash, similar to Cash Shuffle and CoinJoin. So it's a new protocol for improving fungibility, anonymous interaction within the app. It was created by Chris Troutner, our very own. The app leverages token protocols.
That's our Chris?
That's our Chris.
Oh, I didn't know it was our Chris.
Yeah, I think that's our Chris.
Yeah, another fun is we passed more than 100 people on the Bitcoin.com team recently. So like, a lot of people, a lot of fun stuff, and they're all just as passionate as me and Corbin.
Yeah, he's been doing some awesome work with Gabriel Cardona, and they've been playing around with this token shuffle proposal. And so it leverages token protocols built on top of Bitcoin Cash to improve some fungibility. Cool little proposal, and I'm curious to see if we can start seeing it kind of enter the wild. I think, but we should also mention the other one, Cash Shuffle. So they announced a big roadmap update, which includes shared new plans for their privacy tool for Bitcoin Cash, including pre-shuffle mechanism, which allows the coins to actually be shuffled in the background when you're making payments.
Perfect.
So instead of actually saying, okay, let's go shuffle these coins, it's just you add it into the back end of the wallet. When you send it, it's just shuffling in the background. The average user won't know, but it's being
shuffled for them.
It's being shuffled for them, and improves that.
And the source of this news, of course, was our very own news.bitcoin.com. If you want to keep up with all the latest news that's happening in the crypto coin ecosystem, Bitcoin Cash specifically, news.bitcoin.com is the place for that. We have all sorts of stuff over there. Lots of new news every single day. We have an RSS feed, so you can add our news feed to your app or your web page. We have all sorts of widgets over there, so you can add a price ticker and a news widget to your website. Like, please add those widgets to your website too. Help us spread the word. Help us, get the news out there. So if you have an app or a website, please add our news feed to it. We would really appreciate it. That helps us get the word out. And of course, if you like this video, subscribe, like, share, do all those things that we ask them. We don't just say it because we're saying it because it actually helps. So if you want to help us spread the messages of economic freedom, personal responsibility, self-ownership, and peer-to-peer electronic cash for the entire world, help us spread that message by sharing this video, sharing Bitcoin.com, setting up your friends with a wallet, do all this stuff. So which brings us to another way that Bitcoin Cash is spreading. What do you know about the Hiver app, H-I-V-R?
So yeah, Hiver, they just tweeted out today actually, so a little update. They're actually launching on Friday, so I'm guessing they must be posting from North America. So probably in the next 12 to 24 hours, we should see their beta release.
Exclusively using Bitcoin Cash, it says.
Yeah, a pretty interesting little social wallet where users can chat anonymously and earn Bitcoin Cash for posting quality content. So yeah, make sure you go check that out. They are HIVR app. On Twitter, and I haven't seen their website yet, but I'm sure that they'll be releasing that probably in the next 12 to 24 hours. So
another one that I haven't used yet, and be very careful with these sorts of things online, but betpools.cash is a new Bitcoin Cash exclusive betting site. Have you got a chance to poke around yet?
I had a chance to poke around in there, and I did see that they were having NHL bet pools, which kind of
Canadians love hockey.
Yeah, I want to bet on some hockey, and yeah, Bitcoin Cash only, and 5% fee on winnings, so it's pretty interesting stuff.
They're acting as the bookie, and they're holding all the funds.
Yeah.
So be careful and aware of that.
Yeah, of course. Make sure you do your own research. Of course, only play with what you're willing to lose, and make sure that you know, just test things out before you start going too crazy.
And speaking of playing things, so part of how Bitcoin.com gets to spread economic freedom to the world and the ideas of voluntarism and self-ownership and free markets, of course, are through our cashgames.bitcoin.com. So you can play poker, blackjack, roulette, slots, dice.
Yep.
All these things. The odds are way, way, way better than Las Vegas. And unlike Las Vegas, our games are all provably fair. In Las Vegas, you have to trust the state gaming commission that sends some guy around to inspect the slot machines, and who knows if he's being paid off by the casino or whatnot. All of our games are mathematically provably fair.
Yeah.
So and the odds are way, 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 way better.
Actually, I overheard from one of our games guys. I don't know if he'll like me telling, but we Cash Games is surpassing now. Just games.bitcoin.com.
The BTC, yeah. So we still support the legacy BTC, and we have, of course, Cash Games. So we have games.bitcoin.com and cashgames.bitcoin.com for BCH. But the Cash Games are more popular than BTC.
Cash Games are more popular. We're seeing way more activity, and it's I mean, it makes sense.
Cash.
People like cash. They want to spend it. They want to use it.
Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great stuff.
So check that out. And again, if you can deposit instantly, you can play, you can withdraw your winnings instantly. If you lose, that means the house won, but we're going to then use that money to spread the ideas of economic freedom and Bitcoin Cash to the world. So it's a win-win situation no matter what. So and we have an awesome affiliate system too, so you can tell your friends about it and get paid for telling your friends about it.
Earn some, yeah. Any other big news on your end over the next couple of weeks? What are you working towards?
Man, there's just so much happening all the time, and I guess my biggest regret is now that Bitcoin.com is so big and so busy, like I have to keep an eye on so many different things. I don't have as much time to poke around the internet and do the reading myself about these new projects. I would like
these summaries are good.
But this is how I get some of the latest news myself. We have another team member. Shout out to Chris for preparing these each week, also known as the Bitcoin Kid.
Yeah.
And so I get to learn lots of new stuff each week when he compiles it all for me there too. But again, make sure you visit our BTC on Reddit, because our Bitcoin is completely censored. If you don't believe us, try posting this video over at our Bitcoin. It'll get deleted there. And anyhow, share this video on your own social media.
Go share it. Make sure you subscribe, guys. Leave a comment. I believe we're still giving away T-shirts to the best comment. So
and if you have questions for us, post it in the comments. I try to poke around and answer some of the questions in the comments, and we try and answer them each week in the show as well. So and our channel is getting more and more popular. I think we surpassed like 12,000 subscribers, or almost 12,000 now. So
awesome.
For something we just started very recently, that's a great start. And the more subscribers you have, the easier it is to get more. So like the first 1,000 subscribers are much, much harder to get than the first 10,000. And the next 10,000 will be way, way easier. And pretty soon we'll be at 100,000. And I'd like to be at 1 million subscribers at some point, but we can only do that with your help. So share this video. Make sure you subscribe and share the video. And there's lots of other YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers for cryptocurrency stuff. We can do it too. So
and if you're a YouTuber, don't be afraid to reach out to us. You know, we'd love to.
Let's do some collaboration with you other YouTubers out there. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and yep, I think that's it for today. So we'll see everybody next week. Anything else to add?
I think that's it. Yeah, Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. You heard it here first and consistently every time, because it's the truth. And sometimes the truth isn't popular, but the truth is the truth, regardless of it being popular. Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. See you guys next week.
See you guys.